Think long and hard before you let some vet put your dog under anesthesia. There is a chance your dog just doesn't come back. We lost our dog today. It's not like it was expected. Our dog went in for an annual teeth cleaning. He's done several of these before. You have to go under anesthesia to do these teeth cleanings. The dog had a heart murmur, so every year they do blood work in advance, do a bunch of stuff. The dog was healthy, had a little heart murmur. Other than that, perfectly fine. He was 13. This year was a new regimen. We had to give him some pain medication 2 hours before we drop him off. Woke him up, and he was all chipper. Off they go. The wife dropped him off at 7:45, right on the dot. We have experience with these teeth cleanings. Teeth cleanings have essentially devolved into teeth extraction events. I'm not even sure there's any cleaning going on, but every year, whatever vet does these cleanings, they call us up and they say, hey, we need to pull out all these teeth. We did that the first time, and the dog had trouble eating after that. And so ever since then, probably 5 years ago, we've been really saying, hey, we're gonna push back on the whole yank all of his teeth kind of a thing. So today, the wife dropped him off, said, definitely call us before we do any extractions. We're really not all about that. Yeah, we got it. 10:45 or so, we get a message that says, he's going in. About an hour and a half later, we get a phone call. We looked at half of his mouth. There's a lot of extractions that need to happen. And so the wife had to go through this long explanation of basically, we're not here for the extractions unless the teeth absolutely positively have to come out. And to us, that meant, okay, there's a verifiable abscess. You see it on an x-ray. The tooth is not just loose. It's just, there's an abscess. It needs to come out. We get that. After all this back and forth with the vet, the wife says, well, how about you finish up the x-rays and call us back once you've completed your exam? Oh yeah, that's what I'll do. 30, 45 minutes later, we get another call. Okay, now we've done the x-rays and I've examined the other half of his mouth. So the first time we got a call, she hadn't even examined his whole mouth. Now she's examined his whole mouth. At least 10 teeth have to come out. And we're like, holy smokes, 10 teeth. Goes back and forth, back and forth. Our dog's on a special diet because he's got this gastro thing. He gets his blood tested every year, every 6-8 months. This has been going on for 3-4 years. But basically, totally under control. Dog was healthy, all good. So we're like, well, he needs to eat this diet, because we have to do it special. Otherwise, his blood work gets all foobar, gastro problems, etc. Now, the vet just wasn't having it. After a lot of back and forth, and this is probably 12:15, 12:30 by now, a lot of back and forth, the missus is like, look, how many teeth actually have abscesses? Well, it started out as 2, then it was 4, then it was 6, and then the number 2 came back up again, and then it was, well, we really want to extract 10 teeth because there's 6 abscess teeth. The other side is worse. There's 4 other teeth that are right next to these abscess teeth that they're going to fall out anyway. Well, and by the way, there's all this danger if you don't pull these teeth out and blah, blah, blah. And then the vet says, by the way, if I was doing my job, I would pull all of his teeth, 100% of his teeth. And we're like, yeah, that's not a thing. The wife reluctantly, so reluctantly, she was in tears after the phone call. She agreed. She said, fine, pull the 6 abscessed teeth, and then these other 4 that are quote unquote gonna fall out no matter what, that are right next to the abscess teeth. The wife is just distraught because we know somebody who, once their dog had a majority of their teeth pulled, the dog wouldn't eat, and the dogs basically ended up dead pretty soon after that. And so the wife is all distraught. I just signed the dog's death warrant because I'm having all these teeth pulled out. The vet's like, we'll call you back as soon as we get to that point. We'll get them out, let you know, blah, blah, blah. Longer than normal later, We get a phone call. I've got really bad news. Your dog went into cardiac arrest when we flipped him over. We were done with the procedure and then we flipped him over and his heart stopped, and we've been doing CPR, and this dog's had this procedure done at least 5 times. And now you're telling us he's got his heart stopped right when you flipped him over. And during these phone call discussions, the doctor's saying things like, he won't even miss the teeth. If I was doing my job, I'd take all of his teeth out. During the phone call, she also said, he does have this heart murmur. I don't want to keep him under the anesthesia too much longer. Don't worry, this is going to go great. He'll be fine. I promise. These are all quotes from the phone call from the vet. And then we get this phone call. Yeah, your dog suffered a heart attack. His heart stopped. Even though we were done with the procedure, we were just about to take him off the oxygen, or we did take him off the oxygen. And then we realized we weren't getting a response. So we jumped in the truck and we started heading over there. 8 minutes up the road, we get another phone call. Yeah, I know, we've been doing the CPR. We really need to stop the CPR, but we need your permission to do that. We're not giving permission because we're like, you got to be kidding us. And then she finally said, well, I'm going to just tell them to stop. We've given him, 3 or 4 doses of some heart starting medicine. He's just not been responsive. And I'm like, well, what are we supposed to do now? And she's like, well, we'll contact you about how to handle his remains. I said to her, I don't have any good words right now. Click. My wife and I are in the post office parking lot, just bawling in shock. So we go to the vet. I asked my wife, do you want to talk to the doctor? You want to see the doctor? I said, I don't want to see the doctor. She was like, no, I don't want to see the doctor. Gal behind the desk is all chipper. I said, yeah. Can I help you? Yeah, you can. I want to see my dead dog. Oh, we're so sorry. And I said, I don't want to see the doctor. I don't want to talk to them. I don't even want to see them. A few minutes later, they take us into a room that's clearly set up for bereavement. Got a little black velvet thing on the table, and the manager comes in, and what happens now? She starts going to the medical stuff, and I was like, yeah, the medical stuff's done. We need to know what goes on at this point. Well, we'll cremate him, we can give you back the ashes, and we can do paw prints, we can do paw imprints in concrete or clay if you like. And she's like, you have to decide that right now. Definitely cremate him, and we do want the ashes back. And she's like, you don't have to decide, we'll call you in a few days and blah, blah, blah. And, and she's like, and all that's, of course, on us. And so they bring him in. It was just a really weird experience. He seemed like he was just sleeping. I mean, it was like he was just sleeping. They brought him in like a little doggy bed, covered up in a blanket. I mean, it wouldn't have surprised either one of us if he just woke up. He was still warm. We were petting him, and we're both just totally distraught. And we were in there for 45 minutes at least. The manager came in and said, we're going to refund your deposit on the surgery. And then while we were visiting him, total thunderstorm came through. It really reflected our mood. When we left, the front desk was still very apologetic. It seems like they're going to cover all the expenses for cremating him and giving us back his ashes. And they even went out of their way. They said, well, we're going to do all these paw print things, no charge. And since they gave us back the deposit on the surgery, we're thinking they're not going to charge us. The problem is, it sure feels like they messed up. I think that they kept him under far too long. A lot of that time was spent going back and forth with the vet over how many teeth to pull out. And we're trying to rein them in. These are the same 10 teeth they told us last year. 10 teeth need to come out. They were still in there a year later, over a year later. Fine, we'll give in. You can have the 10 teeth. The vet was like, look, over the next couple of years, all the teeth are going to have to come out. And don't worry, the dog won't even miss them. And we're like, yeah, that just doesn't make sense to us. In the end, every single time we've taken this dog for a teeth cleaning, it's really been a tooth extraction exercise. And we've had to battle not just this vet, but the previous vet too. Matter of fact, the previous vet wanted to pull out 17 teeth. And we're like, hello. The vet literally said, well, I'm not doing glamour dental here. If that's your attitude about our dog, we don't need to be taking our dog to you. So we took it to this other vet. A couple of years went by. Last year, it kind of They cranked up the volume on we got to take these 10 teeth out. We're like, let's wait a year. So he's done this thing several times. The dog's healthy, and now he's gone. It's hard to overstate how impactful a dog may be to your life. In our house, I'm in the office right now. I'm looking around. I see a dog bed, a thing full of toys. On the first floor, we've got a dog bed and a thing full of toys. In our bedroom, we've got a dog bed. In our truck, in our car, dog beds. We've been having to buy him special food, and literally we bought the whole fresh batch of all that special food yesterday in the refrigerator. We can't do anything with it. This just happened. And the dog was 13, but he was in good health, really quite playful. He wasn't like doddering old age at all. This has just come as quite a shock. I think what I would say to people is, maybe think about this dental cleaning thing. If you take your dog in and all they want to do is pull teeth, my advice is think long and hard before you let some vet put your dog under anesthesia for things that are just routine care. Because there is a chance your dog just doesn't come back. And it's really devastating because they are so forgiving and forgetful. In some ways, losing a dog is maybe harder than losing a human in your life. Maybe. Dogs just don't have the judgment that humans come along, bring with them. I love dogs. Dogs love me. I don't know why. Dogs really like me. I really like dogs. I loved this dog. He was a hassle, but I still loved him. So I'm really sad to see him go. I'm really sad that my wife he was her pride and joy. She's really having a tough time with this. She just walked in the bedroom. We just came upstairs. There's a little scarf that he wore around his neck that she took off from him this morning before he went to the vet. So in the end, I just want to say, we love you, Bandit. You're really quite a charmer. We're going to miss you. And nothing will ever replace you. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of our lives.